What's up, everyone? I know I've been away for a week, actually, a little bit longer than a week, and truthfully, it's been crazy. You guys have been reaching out, so I've been doing a bunch of virtual coaching with people from around the world, and the squash courts over here in Ontario and Canada have opened up again after the extended lockdowns. So a lot of the juniors are back, and they're chomping at the bit to really improve their game. So we're back on court, and I've been training a little bit more myself. So that's been a lot of fun. But back to the subject for today. I'm super excited, to be honest, because I love Ramy Ashour. He is one of my favorite players of all time, and this video is all about a quick look. I mean, there's so much about him, but it's a quick look into what made Ramy so special. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a list of things. Okay, this is not an exhaustive list, but I think it's a pretty accurate list based on the years and years of watching Ramy. He has always been super aware. He applies pressure in such novel and unique ways from situations and positions, depending on how high or low the ball is. He can do it from anywhere, anytime, when you least expect it. But when he was younger, he used to force things a little bit too much. As he matured, he started being far more thoughtful with how he played. So he would apply pressure, and then he would respect and reset when the opponent actually hit a good defensive ball. His movement and his quickness was unparalleled, but his reading of the game, his ability to read the game, was also unrivaled, which, he didn't always look like the fastest mover sometimes, but he basically reached everything. So that's a combination of his fitness, his agility, his quickness, and his natural ability to read the game, which I say natural ability, but he developed that obviously over years and years of playing and training. His shot selection was usually very, very good. Despite all of his skill, he was so relentless. He was so gritty. He would be diving, chasing down balls, doing everything. He was often quite positive, and I showed you in the video about Ramy's mental side how he would be talking to himself, how he would use movement and breathing and things to ground himself and reorient himself. Check it out. I'll link to it over here if you haven't already watched it. His fundamentals were actually often neglected because he hit so many nicks and he had all the holds and all of that stuff. But his fundamental length hitting was amazing, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that today as well. He didn't play set patterns. That's the combination of his shot selection and his variety of hitting that it was so difficult to read him, because not only could he have variety and create variety from multiple positions, but it was difficult to read him because he would be holding the ball as well, and you never knew what was coming. And that's the unpredictability, or that his opponents experienced, which would then stop their movement on the tee. It would make them question in their own mind, what do I have to do to win this rally? What do I have to do to win a point against this guy? He picks up everything. He throws me all over the place. My legs are getting heavy because he's always holding and changing the angles. I'm having to work harder against him than anyone else. These are the sorts of things that his opponents would have been feeling because of the way he played. And then obviously, when he was younger, he did hit more tins and he would open up the court a lot. But as he matured, he was far more consistent than his earlier days. And that was far more consistent in the backcourt with his length hitting, and far more consistent with his accurate short game and the variety. Obviously, the major inconsistency in his career had been his injury. And if for many of you, I'm sure you know, he had a knee surgery when he was younger. I think he was 16, and the surgeons actually took a piece of muscle out of his hamstring to reattach it near his ACL. I don't know the exact details of the surgery because I wasn't there, but that piece of hamstring muscle never really grew back, and unfortunately because of that, he was plagued with injuries over and over. Now, having said that, what I want to do in today's video is basically show you two elements. One, I'm going to show you a few clips of combinations that Ramy played through a couple of matches that you're going to see in a moment. And then I'm going to show you a few complete rallies and break down some of the elements of those rallies. So let's start with the first piece, which is combinations. And I think it's about 4 or 5 clips, and we're going to talk through them. So the first combo is here. He plays a straight drop, squeezes, and then hits the fading length. So I'm going to show you that one again so you can see exactly what's happening. So Ramy sets it up with a tight drop. So look where that drop is. It's not super, super short. The first bounce is here. The second bounce is going to come, you know, halfway back to the short line. But that ball is glued to the side wall. There it is. See, that's not super short, but glued. Ramy's pushing up onto the tee because he knows that Shorbagy doesn't have too many options. And again, if you want to watch this match, if you haven't seen it, it is one of the best matches ever. It's the 2014 World Championships final between Ramy Ashour and Mohamed El Shorbagy. So he squeezes that loose ball from Shorbagy. Shorbagy gets out of the way. Ramy's not trying to take a cheap stroke, but what he does do is he measures it all out. And see how high he hit that ball? He didn't panic and hit it low and hard trying to hit a winner. He hit it high because he knows Shorbagy's in the front of the court and Ramy is trying to fade this ball second bounce in the back of the court. And that's what he does over here, putting Shorbagy under a ton of pressure, winning the point outright. And you see it from here, squeezing Shorbagy, waiting, hitting it high, and check out that. That's how low the ball is. It's literally like 2 or 3 inches off the ground. Shorbagy is pinned after having to make that diagonal hard movement. That's the fundamental length accuracy that Ramy had from all sorts of positions. For those of you who play, I mean, I'm assuming all of you play, it is so hard to control that length from that high up in the air, and Ramy did that consistently. Now let's check out the next rally. Here he uses a straight volley drop for the same squeeze. He hunts, but then he respects and resets because Shorbagy played a good defensive lob. So let's check that out again. Shorbagy hits a loose drive. Ramy plays the drop. See, Ramy's pushing up on the tee. Look how tight his shot is. He's pushing up. He sees that Shorbagy goes cross, so he puts the weight on the left foot to push to the right. And he's hunting the volley, but he realizes it's nice and high. And all he does, check this out. Look how high he plays that ball on the front wall just to reset the rally, get Shorbagy in the back, and then he's pushing up onto the tee to just reinitiate the rally from here. Not forcing the situation, patient and positive. Now the next rally, he uses a 2-all attacking Boast in this. So we'll watch at regular speed, and there's the Boast, pushes up on the tee, and that's just crazy because Shorbagy actually hit a really, really smart shot by hitting it back down the middle, but Ramy's skills, awareness, power from these positions, his ability to adjust every situation was next level, and that's what he did over there. And he managed to hit with pace into the open court. So let's watch this one slowly. So Ramy plays a drive, they're just kind of jockeying for position. Shorbagy plays a pretty good cross, and Ramy changes the pattern. So if you notice, this is in the first game of, and actually this match is one of the last tournaments that Ramy played. It was the 2018 Grasshopper Cup, I believe. And this was the final of that tournament. Now watch, Ramy at this point hasn't played the 2-all Boast very much, especially from the back. So you see he hits, and Shorbagy's first movement is to put this left foot down because he's expecting the straight drive, because that's what Ramy's been playing this entire time. And then he has to readjust by putting that right foot down. And now he's under a bit of pressure, goes, smart shot coming down the middle. And you see Ramy's body, he sees the cross, but he's moving to the right because he played the 2-all attacking Boast. That's shot 1 in the 1-2 punch combo. And if you want to get more of a history on the 1-2 punch combo, check out my video that I'm linking to above with Amar Shabana. So in this case, he plays the 2-all attacking Boast. He pushes up to the tee. He knows the cross is coming and he wants to hunt that ball. Shorbagy, being the great player that he is, hits it down the middle. Ramy makes this amazing adjustment. The open court is the back right. And he manages to fade the ball second bounce by the short line, which is the accuracy that you want on regular kills. And he did it from behind the back. Just ridiculous. Okay, let's check out the next combo here. So normally, if you've noticed, Ramy plays a variety of pace. So in this one, in the previous videos, if you notice, he was generally hitting high. He would hit above the service line. He mixes the pace up a lot. Over here, this was, from my recollection, one of the first shots that he hit. Look how low he hits it. Mid, between the service line and the tin, kind of mid-wall. And it's a great length, pushing Shorbagy into the back. And Ramy has the intention over here. He knows this ball is coming straight. He's stepping across. In his mind, he's ready to just rip that nick, and the flawless execution is over there. And let's check out one last combo. So this is another 2-all attacking Boast combo. pushes Shorbagi to the back, gets on it early, and executes. So this is a good one. So a lot of people hit that boast when their opponent is in front of them, and that is effective, like you just saw from Ramy, but it's effective when you've changed the pattern. So you've been hitting straight, 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 maybe cross, and then you've never hit that 2-wall boast from the back, and then you hit it, then it's effective. But the time it's effective more consistently is this scenario. You push your opponent back, and you are in front of them. They're still in the back in that corner, and then you play the quick 2-wall boast to make them run the diagonal into the opposite open court. And if you hit that quick 2-wall boast well, then the opponent's under pressure. They fluff up something loose. And if you see over here, Ramy was getting ready for the split, and he was initially looking for the cross, but then Shorbagi pops something up straight. So he gets on it casually, gives Shorbagi time to actually get out of the way, because he knows that the only place Shorbagi can go is back here. Now what has that done? It's opened up this entire right side of the court. So now Ramy plays one of the shots he's been known for, is that cross-court nick, and flawless execution. And see, Shorbagi got stuck way back in the opposite corner service box. If that ball that Ramy just hit stays even moderately short, that's a long way for Shorbagi to go. So that's, to me, those are like awesome examples of his combos. Now let's check out some quality rallies from Ramy. And before the rallies start, I just want you guys to check this out. So think about some of the things I've noted up here. So how often does Ramy cut the ball off before the back wall, and how often does he let it come off the back wall? How much is he hitting straight versus cross? How many shots are below the service line on the front wall? How many shots are hitting above the service line on the front wall? How many holds is he putting in? These are all factors to consider that add variety into your game. So think about your own game when you think of this list over here. And this is not a complete list, but it gives you a good idea of things to think about. Are you a one-trick pony, or are you bringing the variety that I see that I've listed over here for you? If you're bringing even 2 or 3 of these elements, you're going to be playing around with your opponent a lot more than if you just played at one pace and you only played length, for example. You know, if you suddenly add variety of speed, it breaks your opponent's movement patterns, so that has a different effect on them. If you are used to only playing straight, well, now if you go straight and cross with change of pace, now you've added another dimension to your game. So think about the way you play and think about how you can add dimensions, and then the best way to practice it is go into a practice match with someone. Don't worry about winning or losing, and just have an intention for yourself to say, my goal today is to work on changing the pace of play and the direction of play, and then see what happens. See if it throws your regular hitting partner off. Are you suddenly getting more loose balls than you normally do? Are you not feeling as tired because you're giving yourself enough time to get back to the tee? You know, see what happens. It's just an experiment, and then you'll see what works and what doesn't work. So going back to the rally, let's watch this rally, and I'm going to show you the rally in its entirety, and then I'm just going to break down a couple of pieces of it, okay? So here's the rally. See, right there was a little hold, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Ramy's using pace hitting, using height, and another hold. See, medium pace hitting, just rallying, drop, put Shorbagi under pressure, another hold across the body, and then just kind of being comfortable just getting into rallies over here, resetting. That's tight from Shorbagi. That's a good attack. That's a nice variety from Ramy when he was under pressure. So now let's see this, okay? So the first thing I want to show you, check out that rally again if you want. There were so many elements to it. The first thing I'm going to emphasize for a minute is the extent of holds that Ramy uses. So watch this. So I'm going to go back to this one. So if you remember, Ramy was going for the cross, and he's coming across, and then from here, when the ball is beside him, he hasn't quite let it get behind him, it's beside him, and he hits the cross from there. Shorbagi does not expect that. You see his momentum. Even though the ball's already there, the momentum is moving to the left, and he's still going to the left, and then he has to adjust. And look how much height Ramy uses. And look at that, he's still stopped and the ball is all the way on the right side of the court, and only now he managed to decelerate. And it's okay because Ramy's shot is not super deep, but you see the effect that that hold had on him. And it's that kind of like that pressure on the legs of changing directions, of starting and stopping, that wears into the body over time. So now let's check out one other example. So here's another example of Ramy with the hold. So Shorbagy pops something up loose mid-court. Ramy comes, and last second he changes the angle. Shorbagy this time had a small stutter going left and then made a quicker adjustment to go right, and then he can get on that ball. But again, small little subtleties that over time end up taking their toll. So let's check out this next piece. So watch Ramy's tactics. Look at his mindset of patience, but at the same time attacking, hunting, respecting, and resetting, all of those factors in here. So this is the one where Ramy plays this drop from the mid-court. It was one of the first ones he hit, so Shorbagy's a little bit late. Ramy's ball hits the nick, pops out a bit unlucky for Shorbagy. But then over here, Shorbagy's movement is pushing back and to the right. The open court is the back right corner. Now, Ramy could hit to the open court, but what does he do? He holds and he pushes across. Shorbagy actually did a really good job over here because he could have gone all the way through, because most players would hit all the way through, but he actually slowed down his movement on the way back to the tee, waiting for Ramy to make contact with the ball so that he could split, do his split step, and then move accordingly so he doesn't get caught. And he does well over there to pop that ball back on the front wall. Ramy's attack doesn't work, so the two of them, Ramy just respects it now, and see, look, he's using height. He hits one ball here, he hit a couple over here. He's varying up the pace and height on the front wall. Now the next piece I wanted to show you guys is his variation under pressure, and then his surprise attack. So over here, that's a tight ball by Shorbagy, squeezes Ramy, and look how quickly Ramy's actually recovering to the tee because he knows he's under pressure. Shorbagy is reaching forward to take time away from Ramy on that volley. Ramy is pushing forward, sees it, under pressure, and does not play the obvious shot. The obvious shot could have been a counter drop, it could have been a straight lob, it could have been a cross-court lob. He ends up playing a trickle boast, and that ends up having a nice little juttery, stuttery effect on Shorbagy. And then he eventually goes and gets it, and he does an intelligent thing by trying to hit it down the middle, but Ramy is so aware that he's got his racket ready, and that's a stroke all day. So that just shows you Ramy's ability to be creative and accurate under pressure. Now, I'm not recommending you go try that. You need to build up the skill to do that. You have to have the abilities, the confidence, the movement, the fitness, all of it. It just goes to show you how phenomenal this man really was. This I found really interesting. So the first clip you saw of this rally and then the breakdown from that rally is all from game one of this final. And the main thing I noticed here, if you look at it, the overall distance that the guys covered was pretty comparable. The longest rally, Shorbagy did a little bit more work than Ramy. And again, it's the margins, right? So if you are consistently doing, let's say, about 10% more work than your opponent, you're going to get tired earlier than your opponent unless you're significantly fitter. At that level, no one is that much fitter than the other guy. But the thing I found interesting is that the red is kind of where they're spending most of their time. Ramy is spending most of his time, the dark red, pretty much in the middle of the court, within the service box. He goes behind the back of the service box, but it doesn't extend and it's not that dark. Shorbagy is extending way behind the back of that service box, and it's darker compared to the one on Ramy's graph. That tells you that Shorbagy is constantly being pushed a little bit further, a little bit harder into that back left corner. And again, it's that margin that ends up adding up over time. So let's check out the next rally. This is from game two. And think about the same things. Think about the angle. How many crosses is Ramy hitting? How many straight? Look at that grit and that resilience. And then chasing that foot speed. Man, there's so many factors in this rally, it's ridiculous. I'm going to break this one down a little bit more. So let's start from here. So quick hands from Ramy, quick hands from Shorbagy. Look at that adjustment to get around Shorbagy's feet. And then the determination in that dive. Look how quickly he gets back up. And then watch his foot speed. This is in slow-mo. Watch his foot speed to get on that ball. And this is the craziest part. He knows that Shorbagy is looking for the cross court. I'm going to rewind it a tiny bit. Look, Shorbagy's over there. He's played that ball. See, his racket starts to go up for the cross on the forehand. Ramy's so smart. He hits it back down the middle. Shorbagy can just react to it. And now Ramy has position. Shorbagy's stuck to the right. It's a super loose ball. The entire back left corner is open. And that's exactly what he does. He hits that drive. And check out the accuracy of that drive. First bounce, kind of mid-back of service box. Glued. Look how hard Shorbagy's stretching. Weight is fully stretched forward. Back foot is coming off the ground. And he gets on it. And look at the speed that Shorbagy pushes back with, because see, Shorbagy's momentum is going to the front, right? Because this is a common position for Ramy to rip that cross-court nick. So he's like, oh man, I'm going to get this, because that's what he's going to do. And what does Ramy do? He hits it straight. And you see Shorbagy realizes it, but I mean, he's got so much momentum going to the front, right? He breaks, but that's all he can do. He can't do anything else. And I'm going to show you that deceptive hit. So I'm going to let it go in slow-mo. Watch Ramy after this drive. Watch his position now. He shapes for the cross-court nick and then straightens out. So he opened up his chest and swung a little bit as though he was going for the cross-court nick, and then straightened his racket out and punched it straight down the wall. That, again, is next level skill to also hit it that accurately. Okay, and I think you can check this one out from this angle now. First, watch the dive. That's the grit. And check out the deception. Ooh, shoulder fake, head fake, everything. Now in this rally, I want you guys to see that even guys like Ramy, someone of his legendary status, they don't always play accurately. So here he is. That was a kind of loose serve. That's a loose drop. Loose cross. He's being put under pressure. He's still being relentless. He's not giving up. I see a lot of lesser players give up when they don't hit well. That drop was a bit high. He hit one in the middle. I don't know if that was intentional. That's a loose defensive attempt. Stretching for the cross. And then that's loose again, and Shorbagy blocks him out. And he can't get that drive. Shorbagy does this all the time. But one thing I want you guys to look at over here. I'm going to rewind this a tiny bit. So check this out. So loose drive, Shorbagy hits, and Shorbagy is going to push back to the tee after he hits. He does this to all the players right now. He does it when he plays Tariq Momin, when he plays Ali Farag or whatever. Most of the players complain when their opponent does this. Watch what Ramy does. So Shorbagy hits, Ramy moves around, and then look at Ramy's face. He's telling himself, it's good. That happened because your length was loose. He blocked you out. There's no frustration, no complaining with the referee, nothing. He just told himself that was your fault. See, this is a huge thing when it comes to mindset. We have two choices. We have a choice to either give away our personal power and blame anyone and everyone in any circumstance other than ourselves. So, oh man, why is Shorbagy hitting and moving back to the tee and blocking me and taking up space? Oh, the ball hit the nick. He got a funny bounce. That's such garbage. This and that. What Ramy did there, he's like, okay, loose length, fix your length. He's taking his personal power back. He's putting the ownership and the responsibility on himself, not complaining to referees. He's going to do everything in his power to rectify the situation. That to me is a champion and a winning mindset. So now let's jump into the next rally. Look at Ramy's hands. Reaction time, Shorbagy 2, nice tight drop. He respects that and resets it because Shorbagy hit a good defensive ball over there. And they're right back into jockeying for position. Ramy's changing the angles, hitting straight, hitting cross, being patient. Nice and tight for the squeeze, respects Shorbagy's good lob. Changing angles consistently. And tight length with the follow-up combo on that perfect drop. So let's just watch that part again. So there's the tight length. Look at that, it's glued to the wall. And this is what I was saying about that heat map. Shorbagy's consistently hitting more stretched out in that corner. And then Ramy steps forward, plays that drop, and look at the execution. You can see the shadow of the ball, the reflection of the ball on the glass. That ball is glued to the sidewall. and it's running away from Shorbagy. Shorbagy has to go get that ball. He's not going to get a let on it. And there it is. And he knows it too. So let's go to the last rally I'm going to show you guys. Nice pressure from Shorbagy. Ramy is just constantly changing angles. Hustling. He's under pressure. He's balanced. And then he puts that nice drop in. Works for the combo. He hits across Shorbagy's body. And then he just resets it. Let me show you guys that combo one more time really quickly. So here he plays that drop. And then look, his body's already moving to the right side. And then again, Shorbagy is moving to the back right because he knows this is the open court. And then Ramy hits it across him, and Shorbagy has to do a quick turn. Ramy's ball just bounced and caught the sidewall, so it stopped. But look, Shorbagy's still under a lot of pressure. But Shorbagy hits a nice high ball, so Ramy respects and reset and goes from there. And they're both just jockeying for position again. See, look how much Ramy's looking for the volley, but he respects it. Shorbagy did the same. And there's the hold that puts a little bit of work into Shorbagy. Look at that drop when he's under pressure, just setting it up. I got to show you that again. Shorbagy hits the cross. It's actually a low ball, but Ramy reads it so well, and he's so balanced, and he has so much control over his racket face that he puts such a tight ball in, glued to the wall. Shorbagy barely gets it. And then from here, Ramy puts more pressure. Shorbagy barely gets that. More straight attacking pressure. Shorbagy gets that. And Shorbagy's using that defensive drop. I'll link to the video with Joel Macon kind of showing you that one. And Rally's just like, look at that. Shorbagy is working so hard, and Ramy's constantly pushing him back and forth, side to side, putting in the hold, and the relentless movement, ending with the perfect drop. And this is the best over here. Shorbagy smiling, nodding his head. Ramy's giving him the thumbs up. Imagine you play that rally. You work so hard from Shorbagy's perspective. You pick up all of the shots, and then at the end, your opponent turns around and he just gives you a thumbs up. And you're just gassed, like, oh my god, what the heck? That would be devastating. A lot of fun, clearly, but devastating. Oh man. So here is the heat map from their second game. Now over here, you see the same thing. Shorbagy's consistently being pushed into that back left corner more than Ramy is. Again, that begins to take its toll on you. And actually, I lied. Last rally from the third game. Look at his consistent length. Ramy's taking everything with the back of the service box. Shorbagy is not. And I'm going to show you that combo one more time. So first, look at the length. Shorbagy's being pushed back. Ramy cuts it off at 3/4. Shorbagy's being pushed back. He plays the drop. Ramy plays a nice counter. Pushes Shorbagy forward. And then look, when Shorbagy's there, he has to push back in order to cover the backcourt. And Ramy can sense his momentum is going back. And he plays a nice little counter drop. So that's that awareness piece we talked about before. And that's just perfect. So there you have it, folks. That is, I'm hoping, giving you a sense of what makes Ramy Ashour and what made him so special. His shot selection, his execution, his holds, his awareness, his speed, the way he read the game, like everything combined, his mental attitude, his grit, like everything put together made him one of the legends of the game. And he's one of my favorite players to watch. I love watching him play. He plays cleanly, he doesn't argue, he's hungry to win, but he does it so fairly. As always, I hope you found value in this video. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Give it the thumbs up if you like it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.